Hello and welcome to In Focus. I'm Sally Jastrzębska. Together with our reporters, we have prepared stories about unique initiatives and the individuals behind them. Its history dates back to 16th century England, yet to this day, little is known about the sport here in Poland. Perhaps now this is about to change as the next generation of Poles becomes interested in the game. Here's more.
You have to be quick, you have to run fast for 100 meters, you have to catch the ball.
I feel like my second home here in Poland.
It's my hobby. Pandemic hit, I rekindled the passion for cricket here in Poland.
The town of Stare Babice, just north of Warsaw, is known as being the gateway to the Campinos Nature Reserve. But it's not only for the wolves, for the moose that it is famous for, it's also the home of Polish cricket. We attended the T20 Cup matches between Warsaw's first team, the Warsaw Cricket Club, and the only team with Polish players, the Warsaw Hussars.
This year we had 10-year anniversary. We founded the club with our friends to promote cricket.
Overall in Poland, leather ball cricket teams have got around 16 to 18, 16 let's say, and they've got around more than 25 which play tennis ball cricket. It's getting bigger now.
Friends in school, your Polish friends, do they understand cricket?
I mean, they do not understand cricket that much because it isn't like such a popular sport in Poland, but slowly they are starting to get more interested in this kind of sport. Like baseball, for example, it's like they're comparing it to baseball and starting to talk more about it. And I've seen the cricket grow here.
What's in this bag?
So basically I have some batting equipment in here. So what is needed, basically the pads which protect our legs. We put them in here, like that. I will put them on soon. Apart from that, we of course have gloves to protect our hands because the ball is pretty hard and this is a mandatory equipment. Apart from that, we have also the arm guard, which we can place in here to protect this part, and some additional equipment like thigh pads, which we put on our thighs. We also have a bat, which we bat with, which looks like that. It's flat on one surface, not flat on the other, and we use it to bat to score runs.
Although there are hundreds of complications, the basic idea of cricket is quite simple. There are two teams of 11 players who both get a turn of batting, hitting the ball, and bowling, throwing the ball. The bowler bowls in turns to the batsmen who stand at the two sets of wickets. If the batsman hits the ball, he and his partner run to the next wicket. If they both get to the opposite wicket, their teams score a run or a point. If the ball goes over the pitch boundary without bouncing, the batting team scores 6 runs. If it bounces, the batters score 4 runs. Meanwhile, the bowler's team try to catch the ball before it bounces, or throw the ball at the wickets to eliminate the batsman. The team with the highest number of runs wins. Scores are in the hundreds even at this level, so there's plenty of excitement. So it was a great match today and I think a good season for the Hussars.
It's been a fabulous season for us. We started slow and we've, like our captain just said, we won 50% of the matches. This has been the best season so far for us.
Great. And so what does that mean for you then in terms of advancing?
This is a great hope for the Osars.
So Prince, and a very good game today. Quite close, but the other team managed to get the victory.
Yeah, it was not phenomenal for us. It was a pretty bad game for us. We didn't live up to the expectations today. I thought we could do much better, but yeah, we'll come back stronger next game.
And you're one of the youngest players on the team. How long have you been playing?
Well, I've been playing normally like for 3 years now, but before that I was with the team, coming for the games.
I really want to do well in cricket and like play for a country. I'm hoping to go to Netherlands and play a club cricket there and hopefully a chance to play in under 19 and then under 23 there.
Well, I think it's time to take it to the next level. We need a lot of investment from the government into kind of grounds. This is the only ground we have here. But I think cricket in Europe is growing. There are most of the European nations in the Union playing cricket and they're doing really well. And I think it's time for Poland.
And I'd love to see, what a village cricket in England is all about. That social aspect to it, the game, like before the game and after the game, bringing your family to the games, watching it, having a good time. I'd love for that to be replicated here.
For the season, we play around 130, 140 matches alone on this wicket. So our matches start sometimes at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. People who are living across the road, they sometimes come and say that it's loud, in the morning they're sleeping and 7 in the morning we're shouting here.
So it's been a great day out here at Stare Babitse watching the cricket. Thank you very much, Tarun.
Yeah, thank you so much, David, for your time. And I would like to you to become an honorary member of Warsaw Cricket Club.
Oh, thank you very much.
This is our...
Well, that's a great thing to have. Thank you very much. That's David Kennedy at Warsaw Cricket Club for TVP World.
Ganesh Chaturthi, one of the most popular festivals in India, is currently taking place across the country. Every year, the 10-day event honoring the birth of Lord Ganesha, who is revered as the remover of obstacles and the god of prosperity, is accompanied by grand festivities.
The Ganesh Chaturthi festival, which this year began on September 6th, is one of the most widely celebrated festivals in India. It honors Lord Ganesh, the elephant-headed deity, which is one of the most worshipped and beloved Hindu gods.
In all our gods, like 36 crore gods, the Ganesha is the most powerful. So if we have to pray any god, like different like Shiva and all, first we have to pray Ganesha, then we have to pray other god.
Historically, the festival has been celebrated since the time of King Shivaji back in the 17th century. It started as a private celebration. That, however, changed during India's struggle for independence. This is when the festival became a grand public event where people from all castes of the country's society could come together, pray, and be united.
Festival means supposed to mean happiness, family gathering, and all good wishes and blessings.
Ganesh is regarded as the god of new beginnings, fresh starts, remover of obstacles, and a patron of learning. The 10-day-long event not only celebrates the birth of Lord Ganesh, but is also a community event that brings people together and promotes harmony. As every year, this year's edition of the festival is being celebrated with grand festivities, elaborate rituals, and a devotion across India, especially in Mumbai.
I'm here for Ganpati, and this is called Ganesh Chaturthi festival, which is around 10 days festival. So I'm here to capture the moment.
Preparations for the festival began months earlier, with artisans crafting clay images of Ganesh in different sizes. There's even a competition among the local communities to put up the most impressive Ganesh statue on display.
एक हाथ निकालने में 3-4 घंटा लगता है, To make one big hand, it takes 3 to 4 hours. To make a small hand, it takes around 1 hour. It takes 2 to 3 men to do the casting work, take it out, join the parts. It is all very time-consuming. To put it all together, it takes around 10 to 15 days to make one Ganesh idol.
Casting, finishing, joining.
On the first day, thousands of devotees take the idol of Lord Ganesh home and after its installation perform a ceremony to invoke his holy presence into the statue.
As an Indian, we believe that we take Ganesha, Lord Ganesha at our home, and they bring blessings to us, they bring harmony to us. The God of intelligence, God of harmony, God of money, you can say. So he brings everything to our home.
The idol is worshipped at midday every day. It is believed that Lord Ganesh was born at midday, and therefore it is considered to be the most auspicious time of the day for performing the rituals.
So I feel people basically speak to Ganesha, they have an emotional bond with him. And whenever Ganesha is at home for 10 days, for 5 days, for 2 days also, he gives us a lot of blessings. It's a tradition in India and it's an emotion, it's a bond.
For the next 10 days, devotees worship Ganesh both in homes and in temples. Food is an integral part of the Ganesh Chaturthi festival, with each region of the country holding special events in which residents unveil a treasure trove of flavors. The dishes served include delicacies such as sweet dumplings known as modak, as Lord Ganesh is believed to be very fond of them. Fruits are also offered, especially bananas, which stories say are his favorite fruit. On the last day of the festival, the statues are paraded through the streets amidst singing and dancing. Then they are immersed in the ocean or other bodies of water, with more than 150,000 statues immersed every year in the city of Mumbai alone. The act of immersion symbolizes the circle of life. The festival ends with prayers for prosperity, abundant harvests, good health.
People come together, worship, and they pray for their prosperity and good health for the year to come.
And most importantly, Ganesh's early return the following year.
Wednesday marked the 23rd anniversary of the September 11th terrorist attack on the World Trade Center in New York. Events honoring the nearly 3,000 lives lost in the tragedy took place across the United States.
"23 years after the tragic events of September 11, 2001, the global war on terror continues to evolve. Despite significant efforts to combat terrorism, groups like ISIS and Al-Qaeda remain active and have even expanded their influence in various regions around the world. The initial response to the 9/11 attacks saw the United States and its allies launch extensive military campaigns in Afghanistan and Iraq. These efforts aimed to dismantle terrorist networks and prevent future attacks on Western soil.
The deliberate and deadly attacks which were carried out yesterday against our country were more than acts of terror. They were acts of war. This will require our country to unite in steadfast determination and resolve. Freedom and democracy are under attack. The American people need to know we're facing a different enemy than we have ever faced. This enemy hides in shadows and has no regard for human life.
However, the landscape of global terrorism has shifted over the years. While major attacks on the scale of 9/11 have been prevented, terrorist organizations have adapted and found new ways to operate. ISIS, which gained international notoriety for its brutal tactics and rapid territorial gains in Iraq and Syria, has managed to maintain a presence despite losing its territory. The group has decentralized, with affiliates and lone wolf attackers carrying out operations in various parts of the world. Similarly, Al-Qaeda, the weekend, continues to inspire and coordinate attacks through its regional branches.
The war in Iraq distracted us ultimately from what had to get done in Afghanistan. And then when you look at the after effects of Afghanistan and now Iraq, You can see that the results are poor to mixed at best, and certainly with Afghanistan, with the Taliban takeover.
The withdrawal of US troops from Afghanistan and the subsequent Taliban takeover have raised concerns about the resurgence of terrorist activities in the region. Without a significant on-ground presence, intelligence gathering and counter-terrorism operations face new challenges. Experts warn that the threat of an Al-Qaeda-style attack remains, as terrorist groups exploit power vacuums and unstable regions to regroup and plan.
And now switching gears a little bit, an unusual art show was held in Warsaw last weekend, taking over 2 entire floors of a hotel. The artwork was displayed in hotel rooms instead of traditional galleries, giving viewers opportunity to experience them up close.
A contemporary art fair inside an architectural icon of pre-World War II Warsaw. It's a unique concept, and not just in Poland. Each artwork was creatively integrated into the room in which it was displayed.
You'll see art leaning against bed frames, in the closet, in bathtubs, and even under the covers.
Objects interact with the artwork, and the artwork interacts with the objects.
On 2 floors of this historic building, you could admire works from 30 well-known and respected art galleries from Poland and around the world. Iconic paintings like those from Wojciech Fangor, whose works are worth millions.
He's one of the most iconic Polish artists of the 20th century and the only Pole to have had a solo exhibition at New York's Guggenheim Museum.
All of this alongside smaller galleries showcasing surprising concepts.
We always attempt to include a little element of madness in our shows.
There was also jewellery art on display. Visitors could watch live performances in a space designed by diamond and gemstone expert Patrycja Cyganek.
We're showing very old and vintage jewelry. For example, we have a 17th century cross, which is the oldest piece in our collection.
The organisers drew inspiration from the best traditions of the 1990s, when a similar event was held in the luxurious setting of a New York hotel.
Unlike most fairs, here we have a clearly defined space. It's something between an exhibition, a home, and a display space.
With free admission, everyone had the chance to experience the art firsthand.
Meanwhile, the Czech Republic is bracing for potential flooding due to heavy rainfall this weekend. The threat of extreme weather has also sounded alarms in southern Poland. Experts are worried that catastrophic flooding, similar to what happened in 1997, is possible.
Central Europe can be sure of one thing: extreme rainfall throughout the weekend.
There will be a low-pressure area that will first cross our territory to the east and then turn around and cross over again.
The northeastern part of the Czech Republic could see up to 400 liters per square meter of rainfall by Sunday. That's more than half of last year's annual rainfall for the entire country. The situation is similar in Poland. There, up to 350 liters can be expected. The Polish Institute of Meteorology and Water Management has issued warnings for several regions.
It is possible that warning and alarm levels will be exceeded, and there is a threat of flooding.
Crisis management teams are being called across southwestern Poland. Ostrów Wielkopolski has been distributing sandbags to its residents.
Both operational troops and territorial defense troops are prepared. They have been moved there where they are needed.
In 1997, a massive wave of water passed through southwestern Poland. Hundreds of thousands of households were damaged. Today, the authorities say the country is much better prepared.
We are capable of stopping flood waves using existing retention reservoirs. Of course, this is on the basis of the information we currently have.
Record low water levels in Poland's largest rivers work in favor of a better scenario, but dry soil does not.
This prolonged drought of the past months and the current heavy rainfall are unfortunately not a good combination, because this over-dried soil acts a bit like concrete. That is, instead of soaking in, it runs off.
Extreme weather has been affecting Central Europe more and more often recently. Resilience to such events will be something authorities will have to pay more attention to.
Germany's decision to reinstate checks on all of its borders has not been warmly welcomed by many of Berlin's neighbors. The federal government has defended the decision, with Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock claiming that Germany will continue to uphold the European principle of freedom of movement despite the checks.
Illegal migration is inflaming German politics once again. After August's deadly stabbing in western Germany, the authorities have been cracking down on the issue.
We are also doing this, although it is becoming difficult with our neighbors. Some of you are quite surprised that the neighboring countries are saying, "Oh, we don't think it's great." I think we have to get through this.
Reinstating checks on all of Germany's borders is Berlin's latest move. They will start on Monday.
We have had border controls with the Czech Republic, Poland, Austria and Switzerland since October. Since then, we have already carried out 30,000 deportations.
German lawmakers debated about the measures today. The atmosphere was hot after the conservative opposition broke off talks on asylum and migration policy with the government.
I am also saying this to our Eastern European neighbors and partners. We will continue together to go down the European path, and we will keep what protects us, namely our European freedom, which is based on Schengen.
Freedom of movement is believed to be one of Europe's greatest achievements. Berlin's explanations are not convincing to many of its neighbors.
This goes against the treaties, against the spirit of Schengen and European cooperation, and it is primarily due to politics and the political situation in Germany, the feeling of being threatened by the far right.
Unlike Germany, Poland is responsible for the protection of the EU's external border, where Alexander Lukashenko has been orchestrating a migration crisis. To tackle current threats on Poland's border with Belarus, Warsaw has extended a no-go zone along the frontier.
The introduction of this zone has brought the expected results. The number of attempts to illegally cross the border has significantly decreased. While in May there were over 7,000 attempts, in June there were 3,700, and in July 1,300.
The buffer zone covers an area of 200 meters from the border with Belarus, on the most forested stretch of the boundary. Apart from limiting the number of illegal crossings, its other purpose is to prevent people smugglers from taking advantage of those who manage to cross.
More than 1,000 miners and power plant workers recently took to the streets of Warsaw to protest the Green Deal. The demonstrators also demanded higher wages from the government. The protesters have returned to their homes for now, but say that talks with the Polish government are not over yet.
The sounds of air horns, drums and firecrackers were meant to show the Polish government that miners and their demands should be taken seriously. Huge crowds from all over Poland gathered in front of the Ministry of State Assets on Tuesday. They were eventually let in for negotiations.
We've talked about the state of our dialogue in recent days, or lack thereof. We've told them what doubts we have concerning our future.
These doubts include whether the miners will be taken care of in light of the Green Deal, a set of regulations introduced by the EU in recent months to tackle climate change. The protesters don't want to be left out of the conversation.
We first and foremost want our region to be taken care of, to not lose our jobs, and to be reassured by the Ministry of State Assets that the government will continue to include us in their discussions.
The ministry has agreed to hold more dialogue with the mining unions. These talks should take place in October. Similar protests were held by Polish farmers in the first quarter of 2024, but on a much larger scale. The Green Deal has been causing a lot of concern among various sectors of the economy all across Europe. Its opponents say the regulations are not taking into account varying conditions of different countries. The miners and power plant workers who gathered in Warsaw on Tuesday seem satisfied with their negotiations for now. But according to them, the talks are not over yet.
We'll see how it all ends. We, the trade unions, have a plan until the end of November. Right now, we're going back to our homes. Hopefully everyone is okay.
Mining has a long history and tradition in Poland, and it constitutes around 1.4% of the country's GDP. But it has much more significance than just its share of the economy.
Now, the miners are afraid that their mines are going to be shut down in the near future. Coal, for example, is responsible for about 63% of all of Poland's energy. That's why the miners came out here today on the streets of Warsaw to protest against these changes when it comes to the climate change and also to demand higher salaries. From Warsaw, TVP World, Kazimierz Łysiak.
And now we turn to the topic of economy. Mario Draghi's competitiveness report has proposed radical changes to the direction in which the EU is headed. Chinese investments in the region are one area which was highlighted as of particular concern. Here's the full story.
This is it. The 400 pages meant to revolutionize the way the European Union does things. The author of the report did not sugarcoat it when it came to the steps that had to be taken.
It's do this or it's a slow agony.
During an interview for TVP World, Jan Szyszko, Deputy Minister of Funds and Regional Policy, said that to raise competitiveness, a multi-sectoral approach should be applied and a look at the national level of expertise is needed.
We know that Dutch companies are great at microprocessors, that there are some interesting startups in Sweden, and we also see some battery production or health startups are growing and raising in Poland.
In some countries of Central Europe, it is also the greenfield businesses that are growing, but usually through foreign direct investments. In fact, one of the issues the report focuses on are FDIs, particularly the ones coming from China, and it points to Central and Eastern Europe in this context. According to a new study by the Mercator Institute for China Studies and Rhodium Group, Hungary emerged as the top recipient of Chinese foreign direct investments in Europe in 2023, receiving 44% of all Chinese FDI. This places the country ahead of Germany, France and the UK. The bulk of this investment, 69%, was funneled into Hungary's electric vehicle sector, a growing area of focus for Chinese capital. Draghi warns that while foreign investment can spur technological advancements and job creation, particularly in green and digital sectors, these investments need to be coordinated across the entire EU. Fragmented FDI policies could expose smaller member states to undue influence, especially from big geopolitical rivals like China. As Hungary leads the way in Chinese investment, the EU faces a pressing challenge: how to balance economic growth with national security and geopolitical stability.
And that's a wrap for this episode of In Focus. Thank you for watching, and please stay tuned for more here on TVP World.